Fairy tales can come true. They can happen to you if you're young at heart.
Hello, it's me. You thought I wasn't coming back, but I have. So this is the third vlog of a Twirlie's life in Paris. It's obviously been over a week since I last posted. The week before I had absolutely nothing going on, and this week I've been so busy I didn't have time to sit down and do a video. And also it's quite difficult because I was working all the week, and at the weekend from Friday evening, Morgan doesn't work again until Tuesday. So he's here and we live in a one-bed flat, so I can't really relax and film something with him here. So I had some really nice responses from the second vlog, thank you guys. I wasn't sure what people would think about it and if they would be interested or not, but a lot of people wrote really nice comments to me, and people who I haven't seen for a long time, so that was really nice that we can reconnect and they get to see what I'm doing with myself nowadays, now that I'm not in England, because you do lose touch with people quite easily. So yes, this week it's still freezing cold in Paris. Yesterday it was snowing. But apparently Friday it's going to be 10 degrees, which will be like summer here because it's just been cold for so long now. This is my friend, Beast. He stays with me pretty much all day long when I'm in the house, and he gets refilled about 3 times a day because it's just freezing, and I'm kind of worried about the heating bill, so don't put the heating on too much if we can help it. Blast it a little bit and then just share Beast and drink hot tea. This is verveine, or verbena, I think it is in England, and I was drinking loads of normal tea, and now I've kind of moved on back onto herbal. I love this one because it's not a really strong flavour, and it's very relaxing, so it's nice to have for bed, but I just drink it whenever and wherever.
I like chamomile as well, and green tea and peppermint tea, but this one I find like the least offensive and can usually finish a whole cup.
So what have I been up to this week? Well, I did my defilé, my catwalk show, which was awesome. I really enjoyed myself, even though I had to get up at 6 a.m, which was a bit of a shock to the system, and I also stupidly thought that it would be a good idea to keep my cabaret shows that evening. So I had a whole day of rehearsals, which I was absolutely exhausted from, because everything's in French, meeting new people. I haven't done a lot of fashion shows sort of style things before, and we started off doing some simple little patterns on the stage, and I was thinking, oh, this is easy, this is going to be great fun, and about 9 patterns later I was having like brain meltdown, silently in the corner thinking, oh my god, I can't remember what I learned this morning. So I was quite stressed the first day, and I came home about 8 p.m. and rewrote out everything that I needed to do so I could stick it on the wall, because the next day was actually the catwalk, and it was in the morning at 10:30. So I was up and on the bus at 7 a.m. and in hair and makeup, and the first show was quite scary because I didn't even know what I was doing for 2 of my passages at the end of the show, about 15 minutes before the show started. But as usual, everything came together and it was really fun, and it just got easier and easier. We did 4 shows of 25 minutes with little bits of choreography thrown in, and the clothes were really nice, nothing too fancy, but like every day. And yeah, it was a really good experience. I had my hair done in a huge quiff, which has actually ruined my hair completely, and you can't see, but you can a bit there. It's just so ripped at the front, and these little parts, this used to be a fringe about 4 years ago, and that's as far as it's got. My hair doesn't grow very well anyway, and I just had it coloured, which is something else I was going to talk about. I just had it coloured, and then they started backcombing it, and we had to have our hair changed for each show, so that was 4 lots of backcombing and plaiting and brushing out and hairspray, and then obviously I went to do the cabaret in the evening, and had to have my hair in a bun and then take it out and put it in a ponytail and then take it out and put it back in a bun, so my hair really went through the ringer. But other than that, it was a really good experience. I met new people, and I got a little freebie, which I have prepared to show you. There you go. This coat, which I love, it's really warm, it's lovely, which is really cool, and I also got a black bodice and some black trousers. So that was a little extra bonus from my work, so that was really cool. So everything went really well while I was there, and I already knew the choreographer and the assistant choreographer. So that was nice, and I knew a couple of people on the job as well. But it's still really, really tiring trying to listen in French when you're not fluent, and trying to not ask too many questions so that you seem competent for the job. Trying to understand what's been said and saying yes, feeling a little bit Asian, nodding and saying yes, 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 oui, 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 even though you don't always understand what's happening, and then maybe asking somebody else later and realising that you completely got the wrong end of the stick. And another thing that I found quite difficult was people making jokes, because I do understand quite a lot of French now, and I understand people's jokes most of the time, but I'm a confident person in England, and I like making jokes as well. I'm quite silly, and it's really hard listening to people having fun and wanting to join in and not being able to. You hear people making a joke, and you understand, and you want to say something back and join in the conversation, but by the time you've thought about how to say it in French and then reflected about whether it will come across in the right way, usually the moment's passed. So I had quite a few of those moments where I was thinking, oh, I wish that I was a little bit more fluent and I could join in with the banter. And also it's another way of making contacts. So the less you speak to people, obviously the less they'll remember you. And I really wanted to get to know the girls I was working with. They were all really nice and seemed to be doing really well with their careers. And it felt like an opportunity was passing me by. All I could do was sort of smile and nod. But they were really lovely to meet, and you never know, I might work with them again in the future, and hopefully every time I work with people I'll be speaking better and better French. So yeah, that was difficult, but still alive. So as I was saying, I got my hair coloured the day before. I actually went to a friend's house and have met an English guy who is a dancer and who colours hair, which is amazing, because if you are blonde in France, it's very difficult to find somebody that you trust to do your hair. It's difficult enough in England, and then you throw in the language barrier, and it all becomes very complicated and stressful. I've had numerous bad experiences here, and felt that I've got severely ripped off in most places. So finding Dean Brown, if anybody needs a hairdresser in Paris, he comes to your house, or you can go to his salon, and he's only over like every 6 weeks, so you have to catch him while he's here. And unfortunately, the last time I couldn't go to see him, I had to cancel because I hurt my ankle and I couldn't walk. And I had the casting for the defilé, and I really wanted to have my hair redone because it was really, really bad roots, and I'd let it grow out over the summer because I'd been in the sun, so it was a lot blonder anyway. But I didn't want to go to a casting with really bad roots. So I organised to have it done with Dean, and then unfortunately I had to cancel, and so at the last minute I chose somewhere just down the road here, which is a named brand in France, a bit like Headmasters or Tony & Guy or something, and I was so disappointed. I think I was having a bit of a crisis of confidence that day anyway, but the guy just didn't know what I was saying. I couldn't understand him, his accent was quite strong, and every time he spoke, somebody had a hairdryer going behind me, so I couldn't hear what he was saying. I couldn't understand him. When they're asking you things about like how you want your roots done and what kind of colouring you want, it's really hard to explain yourself in French anyway, and I couldn't hear what he was saying, and I felt really like lost and frustrated. So I just let him do what he wanted to do and hoped for the best, but it was really rubbish, and I paid a fortune. I paid about 4 or 5 times more than I paid with Dean, and they did a crap job. So that was really disappointing, and I swore off ever going anywhere else other than Dean again. So just to let people know what it's like if you have blonde hair here, you need to seek out somewhere that you trust, and that's not going to charge you an absolute fortune. But yeah, just a little plug for my friend, because he does a really good job with my hair and I trust him, and he is inexpensive compared to most salons in France. I've been reading some books. I've been trying to read more for 2017, so I didn't get a lot of reading done last year, and I used to really enjoy it, and I haven't been making time for it. So I started trying to read on the metro when I can, but I don't take the metro very much at the moment because I work quite close to home, so that hasn't really excelled my reading. I ordered loads of books before Christmas, and one of them that I ordered was Eat That Frog, which sounds like it's going to be something to do with learning French, but it's not. It's to do with time management, because I'm obviously hoping to start a new business, and I'm looking for ways to improve the time that I have free when I'm not working in the evening, so that I can get more stuff done and get further along with that. And yeah, it was a really good book. It was quite a quick read because it's not very long, and it's all about basically getting done the most important thing that you need to get done first thing in the morning, first thing in the day, and prioritising everything so that you don't procrastinate and do things that you shouldn't be doing just because they're easier, and letting the more important things slip by. And that's something that I found I've been doing quite a lot, especially using housework as a kind of excuse, like, oh, the house is messy, I can't work until it's clean, I have to do the washing, I have to do the washing up, and other little priorities that are more personal. But if you want to get ahead, then you really should be prioritising the most difficult and the most important things first. So that was really interesting. It also talked about constraints, things that are holding you back within yourself, and apparently most constraints are internal, 80% of them are internal. So I had a sort of think about myself, and I thought probably the thing that's holding me back at the moment, the most in France, is my self-confidence about starting something new, because all I've ever done is dance. So starting a new business in a new sector is scary, and add to that the fact that I'm in a new country and I don't understand the rules and regulations of starting a new business here that I need to learn, and to find clients when I don't speak the language very fluently. All those things have kind of knocked my self-confidence, and I try to continue to carry on being brave and pushing myself to do things, but there's still stuff holding me back. And within the self-confidence things, obviously French language skills, something that I need to prioritise, because if I spoke better French, I'd feel so much more confident about going out and speaking to people. For example, getting my insurance cover. That's taken so long, and I did finally go into the insurance company and speak with them myself, and everything went really well. I made myself understood, so it's not as scary as it feels. I need to continue pushing myself, but I really need to search for some way of improving my French, and not just in the house with Morgan. Something ridiculous that happened yesterday was I got home and I received a parcel, and I had ordered online something from Mac, and this is what arrived, which is quite a large box, as you can see. Probably don't think so, but when I show you what's inside, you will. So they sent me this box. Bill, paper, more paper, more paper, more paper, and this is actually what I ordered. Is that not ridiculous? So that kind of annoyed me a bit, because obviously if we hadn't been in, it would have been re-delivered to the post office or wherever, and that could quite easily go in my letterbox. So I thought that was really silly, and also I had to wait like 5 days for it to arrive. So that teaches me from being too lazy to go outside because it's cold, and ordering stuff online. Another really exciting thing that happened yesterday is that I have decided to order a new phone. I haven't had a phone for a good couple of years, and it's fine, my one. It's an iPhone 5C, I think, but it has 8 gigabytes. I can't store music, I can't store photos, I can't have apps on it because there's just literally no space for anything. I have the minimal apps, and all the time it's telling me it's full up, and I have the minimal pictures on my phone, and yeah, it's just getting really annoying. And I'm thinking, if I'm starting a new business and I'm wanting to use my phone for music, for exercises, for reading, for photos, and for filming my vlog, I really needed to invest, and I found quite a good deal on Orange online. I was thinking about just buying it directly from Apple, but when I weighed up the advantages, it was pretty much the same as buying it outright with Orange and then buying insurance for it, which I will have to do because I'm so clumsy, I drop it all the time. And it was also cheaper with Orange, so I went for the cheaper option. I'm going to give my old iPhone to my daddy because he wants to learn to use one, which I think is very admirable because he's in his 70s. So I'm going to give him that one, and I'm going to get a new one, and it's going to arrive tomorrow, I think. So yay! I've been in quite a reflective, pensive mood recently. It's quite nicely come in line with the fact that I'm going to be 30 soon, which I'm quite excited about. I said to a friend the other day that I don't feel scared about it because I feel like I've, if not always been happy, I've pushed myself to the max for the last 10 years, and I've gone out and achieved my goal of being a professional dancer. I've travelled all over the world, I've met new friends, I've broken hearts and had my heart broken, and I found love, and I'm in a wonderful relationship, and I live in Paris, so things are pretty good. But I have been just thinking what direction I'm going to go towards in my 30s, and I've felt myself over the last 6 months really changing, becoming calmer in a way, and I've started to care less about what people think and not worry about speaking my mind if it's something that's important to me. I'm starting to realise what I don't want in life, and things that I used to really enjoy that I'm now finding myself moving away from, which is really interesting and really nice. I'm making decisions about things at the moment, and probably will have some new news in the next few weeks about that. It sounds all a bit mystic, but I need to think things through before I tell the world. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to and hoping that we're going to, in the south of France, to start a new life, to have a new change and a new challenge, and to settle down a bit will be really, really nice. And it's kind of hanging over my head. I don't know how I'll feel if we have to stay in Paris, and I'll try to make the most of it, but now in my mind visualised what our life could be like if we had a big change and moved south, and now that's really in my mind, and it's really exciting. Yeah, so rather than how I have been spending years and years panicking, who am I and what am I doing, even though I don't have all the answers now, and I don't really know if I'll be a successful personal trainer in France. I really hope I will be, but I don't really know what's going to happen, but I feel really positive about the future. And another thing that's kind of surprised me, but I guess was inevitable, is like I've not been in a big cabaret. I've not been on the best cruise ship, in my opinion, and I've not had really the jobs that I wanted or that I set out to achieve, and mainly through my own limitations, and not through want of trying, but maybe through lack of confidence. I haven't really done some of the things I would have liked to have done, but now I don't have the same aspirations. I feel kind of comfortable with what I've done. My body is very tired, and now when I think about dancing at Crazy Horse or the Moulin, it doesn't really fill me with joy. It's more like thinking about doing another contract and how that really feels, and I guess the magic wears off when you've done so many contracts. You realise what's really entailed, and performance is probably less than 50% of being in a contract, and the other 50-60% is rehearsals, stretching, warming up, spending a lot of time with people in a small space, doing your makeup, showering, travelling. There's a lot of things entailed in a contract, and most people only see the shininess of the actual performance. So I'm feeling quite happy with what I've done and not really looking to take anything else now. If I was going to do anything, I probably want to move in a different direction of dance. It still feels alien to me that I would stop dancing completely, but I think as I approach my 30s, changes are coming, which is exciting. Something from French life. So it's January, obviously, New Year, and in France they have this tradition called the Galette, and it's a pie. It comes in quite a lot of different flavours. They have frangipane, pomme, apple, Nutella, and various other ones. And so we were working in January, obviously, and our boss bought us a galette, which was really nice. And what the tradition is you have a big pie, you cut it into pieces for how many people there are, and then one person gets under the table and calls out the names of the people in the room, and the server gives a slice to that person so they don't see where it's been allocated. And then everybody eats, and there's a little tiny ornament, or sometimes jewels or different little things hidden inside the pie, so you have to be quite careful when you're eating it. And somebody wins. When they win, they're coroné or crowned the king. And every time you buy a galette, you get a little crown, and you obviously get a little piece inside. So whoever wins gets coronated, and they get to wear the crown. So it's a really cute little tradition. And I had my first one, and I didn't win. And then a few days later, somebody else in the cast brought another one in who hadn't been there before. So we had another one, and I didn't win. And a few days after that, one of, you might have seen on Facebook, one of the cast members decided to make a galette, and it was one of the most delicious things I've ever had in my life. It was made of speculoos, which is, if you don't know, you usually get the little biscuits in the hairdressers coffee shops, and it's kind of caramelly flavour, and it comes in a tub like peanut butter, and they love it in France. Morgan absolutely adores it. It's not really my favourite, actually. I don't like it that much. I find it quite sickly. And the galette was very sickly, but it was a creme de speculoos, and it was absolutely delicious. So we had that one, and then I still didn't win. A few days later, another girl in the cast decided she wanted to make one, and she was going to make a Nutella one. So we had a fourth galette, and the fourth galette, I won. Yay! So finally got to win, and I got a little horse toy thing, which is in my dressing room. And I finally became the king. So that's a really nice tradition that I didn't know about last year, or the year before, and I really enjoyed it, but we did eat a lot of cake. Having said that, I've lost weight this month, and over Christmas, which I haven't been trying to do, so that's nice, and a little bit bizarre, and also kind of made me think that maybe I'm losing my muscle. I should really start exercising again properly, because I haven't been because of my dodgy ankle, and because I've had so many shows. I've not been doing it, but mainly the ankle thing. And I stopped running, and it's freezing cold outside, but I could be doing stuff inside, so I need to get back on that, and probably this week. Well, I think that's everything. Sorry if it's a bit long, but I had lots of things to jabber on about. And let me know what you think, and if you want to know anything about French life or anything about my life. It's nice to hear from people on Facebook. I really like keeping in touch with people, so please send me a message if we haven't spoken in a while. And I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Okay, see you next week. Bye!
If you are among the very young,